The second thing, did you also know that good decisions come from experience? And experience comes from bad decisions? Okay. So difficult conversations. In your work, how many of you find it difficult to ask for the order? Can I have the job, please? Yeah. Is this what you want? Are you happy with this proposal? Can we get started? How many of you find it difficult to say no? Talk to a bookkeeper at bass time. Don't they know it's bass time? And they want me to do what? Huh? And they keep saying what? Can you do this? And they go, yes. And what about this? Yes. Don't they know it's bass time? That's what they do. Yeah. So sometimes you have to have these difficult conversations and you have to say no. No. So your homework is to practice in front of the mirror. No means no. Or maybe we can get you some strategies and some techniques around that. Or giving advice, guidance. Sorry, we give guidance, don't we? Yeah. So how many of you get a little bit frightened when you've got the big client in front of you and you know that what they're doing is wrong? And I've sat at the table with Lloyd and we know that they don't pay their super. I didn't know that till I came to the Uniting Bookkeepers. Now who's responsible? Do we not say anything? Or do we do what Susan Scott says in her book Fierce Conversations? She tells a story about a guy that walks into his CEO's office and he has a bucket of sand. He tips a bucket of sand on the floor and the CEO says, "What the hell are you doing?" And the guy looks at the bucket of sand on the floor and he said, "Well, I thought I'd just give that to you." He said, "So you can bury your head in it and really enjoy it because you keep avoiding this topic that I keep bringing up." Now, do you think that guy had a little bit of guts? Yes. But what he had was integrity, because what he decided was that if I don't say anything about this decision that I think this company's going down, then I either have to put up, shut up or leave. And so he did care. He cared enough to take it on. And so again, do you? And then if you do, how do you have these difficult conversations? How do we say things? Yeah. Not having the conversations derails companies and it derails marriages because people aren't willing to say the truth. They aren't willing to say what they really think. Now I saw in this company that I worked in, we'd go upstairs and we'd have biff, 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 bam, 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 and that was okay. We'd come down and we'd talk the party line. And I thought, oh, this is good, now I know how it's done. So in my own business now I would facilitate and we had management meetings. And I had another family group. I thought, right, so it's my job, I'm the facilitator and I'm going to push the envelope a little bit. And there was one of the family members and they didn't want to talk. And how many times do we do that? You know, we skirt. I've been to my husband's family to talk about, this is 20 years ago when one of the parents died, and it was 11 o'clock at night before somebody said, well, should we talk about the will? Oh. We'd been there since 6 and it was at Maitland. I wasn't impressed. Anyway, so back to my management meeting and I've got the head of the family, the father, and he's sitting on this chair, and if you've ever been to my office, I've got lovely chairs and they've got little handles on them that you can rest and they've got wheels. And so he's starting to slide and the chair's moving and it's moving towards the door. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, any minute now he's out. So I ran. I said, don't go. And he's standing in front of me and I said, don't go. I'm not putting up with this. I'm not having it. I said, please, stay. Stay in the conversation. Stay in the conversation. So eventually he sat back down, and then they started to get into biff, 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 and I got excited. I got excited because they were talking. So did they need to learn some skills around how to do that? Certainly. But at least they was now starting to say what was on their mind. So that's the second thing. We need to have the difficult conversations. Now, we can talk about that in terms of being assertive. And if you're being assertive, it's different to being aggressive. So would you like to know my model for assertiveness? Okay. So the model that I have, it's almost like a swinging pendulum. And it goes like this. And people generally sit on one side or the other. And on this side over here, we've got people that are what we call passive. And they don't win, and they don't get their way, and it's too hard to fight, and I'm just not good enough, so it just doesn't matter. And they lose. And so they've got lose-win. And then over here on this side, we've got the aggressive bastards! And I'm going to win! And I don't care if you lose. Yeah? It's my way or the highway. We know some people like that, don't we? Yeah? Or they might be passive aggressive. And they're saying yes when they really want to say no. And they leave the lid up on the toilet. And they don't take the garbage out. And they just get you back. And they sabotage you. And so they go swing, swing, swing. And every now and again, this little passive person who never gets to win, every now and again they say, you know what, I've had enough of this. Yeah, and I'm going to win. And then they go, oh, I'm back over here. And every now and again, this person over here who's really aggro, and they go, oh, I might be pushing it. I'll let you win. I'll let you win. Oh, I don't really like this. This isn't very much fun. And they'll swing back. So we've got lose-win, and we've got win-lose. So what do you think sits in the middle here? Assertive, yes, top of the class for you. And assertive is about a win-win. It's about being honest and congruent. It's about being truthful. And so if I'm going to be assertive with you, I have to take responsibility for getting my needs met. And so I have to be aware of what my needs are, and then I have to use my communication skills. And so often when people are assertive and they say what they think, people misread that as being over here as aggressive. And it's actually not. It's actually being true and congruent. So that's the win-win. Now, what do most people do? You've got an orange, or sorry, I've got one orange, you want the orange, and you want the orange. What do most people do? Cut it in half. Yes, that's right. What's that called? Compromise. I hate that word. So what does that mean? Lose-lose. Yes. So what if we actually found out that you wanted the outside of it for your cake, your marmalade, and you wanted the juice to drink? We could actually negotiate a win-win. But most people are so used to having to lose or having to compromise that they give up and they actually lose. And then there's one other, and there's a television program about it. And if we can't get a win-win, then what do we have? A no deal. Yes. So there are our options. Yeah, you can choose to lose. You can choose to win. You can have a win-win. You can have a lose-lose. Or you can have a no deal. So think about these with your clients. Which would you rather? So having the difficult conversations and being assertive. One of the other things about being assertive is that we tell the truth. And so sometimes we give feedback, and sometimes we don't want to hear that feedback. We have a profile that we use in our business called Integrity and Values, and the very first time I got my results given to me, I sat there like a belligerent child. Oh yeah, who's this dickhead? I thought to myself. What does he know? And he said to me, he said, I can tell you, he said, you're going to have cash flow problems. I thought, who's Oh, I don't know him from Adam. It's true. Huh, you think so? He said, yeah. I said, well, what makes you say that? He said, because you don't hold yourself or your clients accountable. I said, really? Out came the bottom lip, went home, told my husband, that's right, he's wrong. You're not like that at all. I'm sitting in the corner thinking, well, maybe I am. Because what was happening was I'd give a quote, a full quote, and I would think this work will take a month, and I would get paid at the end of the month. And guess what? I didn't hold my clients accountable, and I didn't hold myself accountable, so now it's taken 2 months. Ooh, I do have a little problem with cash here at the moment. So I just changed. I made a decision, and I changed the terms, and I changed the way I did it. And so I would give an estimate, but I would work on an hourly basis. And then they would pay monthly. And so then, if they wanted to talk when I went there, they'd talk away. That's fine. They soon got accountable, and so did I. So it's possible to do those things. Now, Winston Churchill says criticism isn't always agreeable. However, it's necessary. He said it's like a pain in the human body. It shows us when there's an unhealthy state of affairs. So, successful people are willing to have those difficult conversations, and don't we appreciate it when somebody actually levels with us and tells us the truth? Yeah. And yet we find it so hard to do. Oh, I might offend her. Oh, I don't want to say that. And yet we're actually letting them off the hook, and we're not helping them by not saying it. So I think, Peter, that was one of your things, wasn't it? Was having the courage to say what you really thought. Yeah. And did it work out? Yeah.